Hey guys, replay crew, welcome to you. It's Mindy, in case you didn't know, but if you came here, you know. I just got done doing an interview with Jeff. Oh gosh, I don't know people's last names. Hawkinson? Hold on, let me look. He gave me his book. Jeff to me. Hawkins. He signed his book for me. If you missed it, you can go and look at it later. I just finished the interview. He didn't want to do too long of a thing on live, so I cut it short out of respect for him. But holy moly, I have to tell you guys that as soon as I turned off the live, every part of every story he was telling me, I'm like, we're missing it. Why can't I record all of this? He said I could talk about it, but I guess, he wanted to eat his meal. But, and, good, I wanted him to eat his meal too, but I just felt like there was so much more to the story that kept going after I turned off the camera. Urgh! So, let's see if I can remember some of the parts. But, hey Julio. Hey, Ottawa. How are you? Just some of the things like that in the culture when you're in Scientology, like a lot of you probably already know all this stuff and you're like, oh, Mindy, you didn't know that? How are you protesting Scientology? You didn't even know that. And every day I learn some new mind-blowing thing that as a never in, I'm like, what? How is that happening under our noses right here? How am I? Doing great, actually. It's a beautiful day. It's not too hot today. The other days have been super hot, too hot for me. But like one of the things, I'll just try to remember a little bit and tell you. But before I do tell you, on August 2nd, he invited me to an ex-Scientology meetup where they're all going to be telling stories, and I'll be able to ask questions too. I'm not allowed to do it on live, but I'm going to take notes and I'll tell you later, like the most impactful moments that for me. And I know a lot of you guys are also never-ins, so I got to stop thinking like, oh, these guys know I'm not telling them anything new. Like maybe there are some people who are learning right alongside with me, Hey, Cinderella. Hey, Marsha. Hey, Patrick Skinner. And thank you for coming, Patrick, earlier, because it's really helpful for me to see like those of you in the chat who I recognize and offering such informative statements or asking really poignant questions that help whoever I'm interviewing feel like heard and seen. And so I really appreciate that. I remember, Patrick, you were in there, so I just wanted to give you a little shout out. But all right, now let me try to remember one of the things he said that was just, I was like, what? So I was saying to him, my question was, I hear about the rice and beans. Is that true? Like they don't get adequate food? Like you just get rice and beans? And he said, well, you have like a card for, you still learn things daily after 10 years of learning about it. Okay, so I'm not alone. Thank you for validating me there. So he's like, you have a different card for everything. You have a card called a birthing card. That's for where you're sleeping and where your like living quarters are. You have a card that's a meal card for your food, and you have all these different cards. He's like, they even joked in Scientology, like you need an air card to breathe, that you need this card to do those things. So as punishment, what they might do is, sorry, Amy, I sometimes say profound things people have no words for when I compare the cult or other things in history. Are you an ex-Scientologist, Amy? Sorry, I don't know too much about you except for I see you in the chat and I appreciate you. So watching the interview with Jeff, it is interesting, isn't it? I told him, I'm like, we're gonna have a hard time limiting our next one to an hour because every single thing you say inspires like 3 more questions at least out of me. But okay, so sorry about the wind. Going back to a meal card, a birthing card, which is where you live. As a punishment, they might revoke your meal card. Or, okay, Amy. Maybe we could talk more about this if you send me an Instagram message. I'd love to get to know you better. Anyway, they might revoke your meal card. And that means that like everyone at the base, not at the base, like physically at a base, but like fundamentally at the base, gets access to the rice and beans. And the rice and beans are unseasoned and very bland. And he's like, if you're sneaky, you might be able to put some salt or ketchup on there. And but if you have your meal card, you might be able to also get whatever meal they prepared, which was also like inadequate or subpar and not delicious, or he didn't describe it any further than that. But at the fundamental level, you can at least get the rice and beans, the bland rice and beans. And so if you're being punished, they might revoke your meal card, and you have to earn it back by like meeting quotas and working. And he said something really interesting to me. I had no clue. He said they might revoke for punishment. They might revoke your birthing card, which means you can't get into your bed at the end of the day. And you have to sleep on the grounds somewhere. Or under your desk. Hi, Marquita. Nice to see you. So, is that insane? Like, oh, you just can't go home today? Like, can you reach out to everyone has like their dorm, like people who live in their dorm, like, would they be punished for, you see, everything he says made me have 3 more questions. Like, could you reach out to the person who wanted to let you in and you can sleep in your bed? Do you get a pillow and a blanket when you sleep on the grounds, or do you look like an unhoused person sleeping on the floor, on the ground, out? He's like, sometimes you might get a tent and a sleeping bag. So it's like, what? They take your card for going back to your dorm and they give you a sleeping bag? I don't even know how it works. Oh my gosh, Dustin, I'm telling you, I was getting vibes like that 100%. For those of you in the replay who aren't seeing the chat, we're not having hot mush today. We're having cold mush. I love you, Miss Hannigan, is like the reference. Anyway, insane. And then you have to earn the card back, or earn those like privileges of food, privileges of sleeping. So like, I don't know if you're familiar with, is it Maslow's hierarchy of needs, where at the fundamental level, like you can't worry about the things that are above it until the things below it are completely satisfied. And the first one is like shelter, and the next one is food, right? And then I don't remember. I was studying psychology when I was in college. It was a long time ago. But shelter, taking away your shelter, that's the foundation in the hierarchy of needs. So the RPF had worse conditions, where the sleeping bag on cement. RPF, what's that? Do I not know something really important? So there was that part of the conversation. I was like, oh, why can't we be recording this for everybody? Because me retelling it isn't as impactful as hearing him say it so matter of fact that he's been through it. And what a nice person Jeff is. Food, clothing, shelter. Thank you, Amy. That's all number 1. All the first level. It's so long since I've studied this stuff. My first major was psychology, and I quickly changed. I wanted to be a child psychologist, just to let you guys know, and I had a lot of trouble disconnecting afterwards, and all of the like the horrific stories of like when you're in child psychology, like I'm sure you understand, there's like a lot of stories and case studies, and it was really hard for me to disconnect at the end of the day, and so I switched to teaching, being a teaching major, so I could be a teacher, and maybe I would be able to identify and help kids like whose parents aren't putting them in therapy, Anyway, and look where I'm at now. Look how far I've come. Just being stupid. But what else? Something that he said that was so that she dyed her roots, and they're black, and they don't match her hair, which is like a golden brown. You guys know what my mom looks like. Do you guys have any advice for her lightening the roots? Emergency! You only have an hour before what? I can't, Mom, I'm on live. Yeah, I don't know what to do for you, Mommy. All right, anyone who has advice for my mommy, please send me an Instagram at Mindy Willens and I'll forward it along to her. She only has an hour. Why? What's happening in an hour? Yeah, she leaves for Chicago tomorrow. I'm gonna be going to Chicago the day after. All right. All right, bye, Mom. Love you. Okay, sorry. Did everyone hear that? Sorry about that. Oh, yeah, he was speaking really quietly. You couldn't hear him at all? I might have to go back and bump up his volume. Thank you for telling me that. Is it lagging? Oh, no. Okay. Lag area. Okay, thank you for telling me. Spotty, thank you. Okay, yeah, lagging. Okay, got it. I'm getting out of the area. What in the world? That was the worst. Let me get out of here. Let's get out of here. Any more? Are we getting back? I'm moving. I'm moving. I'm moving. So annoying. Should I hang up and get back on again? Now it's okay? All right. That was really annoying. I'm sorry about that, everyone. So my mom got her hair too dark and she needs to know how to lighten it before tomorrow. I don't know how to help her. So if you guys have advice, just send it to Instagram me at Mindy Willens. But what was I about to say? Oh yeah, so much noise. It's being normal now. You were able to hear him with earbuds? Okay, great. No, I want everyone to tell me when it's not great. All right. So, is this Fifth Avenue? Oh, there's something I want to show you on 6th Avenue. We're close. What? I think we're close to the Scientology org, too. What is up with all this noise? What are we, in a city or something? Just kidding. Ugh. So you guys, the salon is what did it to her. And my mom, she doesn't want to hurt anyone's feelings, so she won't tell them that she doesn't like it and to tell them to fix it. Box bleach? Yeah, you want it to fall out? Yeah, the salon, right? You gotta get, sorry, Mommy, you have to get over your not wanting to make somebody feel like they didn't do a good job and tell them that as a customer, you need it to be not black hair when your hair is golden. New salon. Yep, there you go. Okay. So another thing that I asked Jeff after the cameras were off was like about child labor, child abuse. I spoke about this with Tori Magoo, and she said that things are so compartmentalized in Scientology that you don't necessarily know what's going on with other people. Like, you're not even allowed to talk to your own family members about certain things. Color you're going to go red? Okay. I don't think the universe wants me to talk to you guys right now. This is insane. How loud everything is. Okay. Heidi Pop, how are you? So, I was asking about, so he said that he had not heard any instances of SA happening. He also said that, because I told him stories about, I spoke to ex-Scientologists who did tell me stories about that they've experienced with child labor, doing things that would profit to the church. For example, helping to do the grading for a new building being built, helping to like book notching, and I guess somebody got their finger notched off. Children doing drywall, and then of course most of us have heard at least that about L. Ron Hubbard Way was paved by miners. The bricks were laid by miners. So what else? But he said he did where children were doing labor that profited the church, that was see and know about and witnessed himself. Children being put through like boot camp style activities of moving heavy rocks and digging holes, and like physical labor exercises like boot camp style. And the purpose wasn't for profiting the church financially in those specific things, but that those specific things, and he says that he says that it's not beyond believability or possibility that those other things do happen. But from him specifically, what he's witnessed himself was this boot camp style child labor, which was the purpose was to like toughen them, physical, mental toughness, and also like compliance, like teaching the kids compliance and not to question. So that was one of the answers that I wished I could have shared with you in the moment through his own words, not mine. But here I am relaying it afterwards. Now, a moment of peace. Here comes the sun. We're talking, so Sandy, I just got done doing an interview with Jeff Hawkins, who wrote a book about his experience. He was in the Gold Base, which is the Hemet compound, which is their private prison, pretty much, for like 35 years. He knows Laura's parents. He had some incredible stories from being in, and shared some of them with us, and I on my last live. But he didn't want to be on live too long, so we cut it when the food came. But he kept telling me stories, and I wanted to wish that we could have stayed live for you to hear them. So I'm just trying to remember and recount to you some of those stories. And they're earlier in this live. So yeah, horrible and child abuse. So, and he was talking about how children are not viewed as children, but rather adults in small bodies. And I was asking, were there any like conditions that they had to live or work under that were along those lines of, that they had to endure this because they're not children, but adults in small bodies. And he said only that like the physical labor conditioning, the physical and mental conditioning exercises that were kind of like boot camp, and then also not being able to see their parents except for, very limited. Yeah, I got super frustrated over there with the no service. Oh man, I wish I'd realized you were in Portland. I would have treated you to lunch or a cold drink. Oh, that's so lovely, Becca. Good news for you. Good news for you and me, because I'm leaving the day after tomorrow. No, is it Monday? I'm leaving tomorrow night, but I'll be back first of the month for about a week. And I'm free for lunch almost every day. I won't be available in the evenings, but during the daytime, I would love to fill my days with meeting you guys and anyone who's around. I've been trying to reach out to Liz Gale, and I haven't been able to reach her yet, but I'd love to meet up with her. I have a picture of her on a Polaroid picture of her on my refrigerator, like us together from when she came to visit. So I have a warm place in my heart for Liz. So loud everywhere. So yeah, Becca, why don't you reach out to me on Instagram at Mindy Willens, and I'd love to make a plan, huh? Were children ever born at the Gold Base? Good question, Amy. Amy, I have to tell you, you had some great questions during the interview. And I am going to do another one with him. And so if you send me more questions, I'll add them to a list and I'll be like, okay, now I'm prepared. Yeah, Rika wants to meet me too. Yeah, she's reached out to me, and so I want to make it happen. I have that whole week that I'll be back. You love her, love her? Oh, who? Liz Gale? Me too. Did I move to Portland for the summer? No. You know, I just wanted to get out of Los Angeles for a bit. I had 2 weddings to go to. One in Chicago that I'm going to, that's going to be this next weekend. And then one in San Francisco, which is going to be second week of August. So after that, I don't have a ticket home to Los Angeles yet. So we'll see, you know, maybe I'll come back, maybe I'll go somewhere else. It depends on also like where you guys want me to go and if, you know, if it's possible. If not, I'll just go back to Los Angeles and keep hanging out with you over there. I'll always find something fun to do with you guys. Pregnant women were transferred or routed out if no abortion. And you know what else? He was telling me, you know, and he's not the only one who told me this, by the way, that that young people, especially today, because of, you know, access to the internet and people like us, like you and me, who are spreading awareness about the dangers of joining Scientology, that they're having a real tough time getting young people in. And so, you know, it might even turn to being, you know, where it used to be forced abortions. Now they might like encourage it, because not encouraging abortions, but encourage like having the children, because they're like the second generation people are easier to manipulate because they don't know anything different. If they didn't escape, like some of our friends who are super strong and were able to escape, like despite all odds, I can't even imagine. But I'm grateful for them. Oh yeah, Dr. B, I'm going to be meeting with him in Chicago for sure. Did he say something like that? Super nice guy. What about if children were abused and how was that handled? Would he have known? So yeah, he said he did not hear anything about the SA that went on. But about rather the like boot camp style endurance exercises, physical and emotional and mental endurance, and also being kept from their parents. Some were bored inside, some were because I remember Blow Drill had to get an SS card. Okay, I didn't know. Thank you for sharing that, Kim. There's also a time when second and third generations were sent to a nearby camp with bad staff. Oh, okay. Well, that's just a recipe for disaster. And I mean, as a child care professional myself, like, this is such a scary idea because, I mean, the standard for working with kids is like got to be really high, and if it's bad staff, like anything can happen. Nobody give them the idea to have a bunch of Sciento kids. That would be horrible for the kids. Yeah, it would be horrible for the kids. Oh, you're Israel's mod. Amy, okay, so that lets me know you a little bit better too. So great to have you, and great to know that about you. So I have to be somewhere in an hour. You guys want to hang out with me? You have any questions about? I'm trying to like remember all the things that I was sitting there going like, what? I feel like this was a little bit of a hectic cluster, this live, because of the like the noise and then losing service and my mom calling and stuff, and also me trying to remember all the things I wanted to relay. But good news, I'll remind you, so don't worry about it. But Friday, not this Friday, but next Friday, I should be going to this big meetup with a lot of ex-Scientologists, and I have so many questions. Like, I want to know so much. Everything I learn makes me have like 3 more questions. So I always am trying to be careful not to like overstep or like ask questions that might be triggering, but I think it's important that that never ends, have a good idea of like the details of the dangers, because that's the only way that the stigma will prevail to the point where people associate them with the reality rather than this facade that's shown to them through like the conditioning of the people who are at the front face of their cult or predatorial organization, you know? Tech right if they didn't reject something. So thank you, Kim. Jeff also mentioned that in the interview, because I asked him, I was like, what's something, I'll just kind of recount what he said, but as best as I can remember, like just off the top of my head, because I'm going to rewatch it, because it's, so he said, I was like, what's the best for someone like me, or someone like you, who sees somebody in Scientology, like when I'm out at the building and I see a Scientologist, I already assume they're not going to talk to me. I'll try. And, you know, usually I try like earnestly to approach them with like sincerity and kindness and inquisitiveness. I don't expect them to talk to me, but I don't know what to say exactly. So I was asking him, like, what should I say? And he brought exactly what you just set up, and he said it in a different way. But yeah, he said that L. Ron Hubbard says that you have to find the things as you're reading the Scientology works, find the things that are true to you, and like separate out the things that are true to you, find another thing that's true to you. And he's like, you have to flip that backwards and ask if there's anything that is not true to you. What is there anything that you don't agree with in, you know, the management or in anything regarding the teachings? And that if the person says, no, I agree with everything, then you tell them that they're not using the tech right in the way that you said. Yeah, because they're not divvying the information into the different bins. It's true for me, or it's not true for me. You're putting everything in the it's true for me, which is not using the tech right. So, Kim, good point. Very good point. Thanks for bringing that up, because like I'm like just trying to hold everything in my short-term memory, and I think like I don't know how much RAM, how much random access memory, how many gigabytes do I have in here? I've got a lot more storage than RAM. I have to write everything down. You guys, if you know me, you know me. The reason I ask about mandatory notification is I think it would be important for people to know that Church of Scientology does not have mandatory notification. Yeah, like a mandated reporting. Is that what you mean, Sandy? Yeah. After Chicago, maybe Roswell, you could see aliens. I'd love to do some fun stuff like that. You know, I've always done the, because of my work, am I a mandated reporter? Sandy, good question. No, I'm not. You're a mandated reporter if you work in a school, like that's your profession in a school. Those people are mandated reporters. They're like filed in with like systems and all that. I'm a private teacher, so I work privately, and so it's like a one-on-one thing. I'm obviously, if I see abuse, then I'm not going to support that. But I've been really lucky, and I've worked with really great families. Does that help? Has Jeff ever protested? Good question. Send me that question along with your other great ones, Amy, because I'm not with him right now, but we will meet again. We'll meet again. Don't know where, don't know when. It's actually going to be on August 2nd at like Clay Church or something like that. Am I going to go get Thai for dinner? Good question. No, I have dinner plans. Dinner plans, but they're not. I won't be taking you guys with me. SAO. Tried to ask one how it helped them, and he flipped me off. Oh, people know. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I think I missed something between SAO and Kim. Sorry, guys. But I really enjoyed going to Thai with you guys before. I've enjoyed some great restaurants out here. I haven't been able to take you because like not all my friends are down with the whole live streaming thing. So I'm kind of finding a great balance, or a workable balance. I don't want to say great, a workable balance for being able to like let you not feel neglected, and also my in-person friends not feel neglected. Or like, I could see how like if I'm talking to my phone and I have a person sitting next to me, try to invite them to talk too with you guys, but I don't know, a lot of people are not comfortable with it, and I get it. Talk about kids, babies were brought into La Poubelle on Friday night, seen on Streets to Stream. Whoa. I didn't know about that. Kids, babies? Oh, Holly, love you so much. Amy, Jefferson has written his book, sent articles. Oh yes, that's another thing. Okay, thank you for reminding me, FBI. It's another thing he said that I wish was on the live, but it wasn't. So I'll have to remember and tell you. He said that he had a meeting with the FBI 10 years ago, and that he told them all of these. Dang it! I'm probably gonna have to mute this for the music. We're back. So, sorry about that. He said that he had a meeting with the FBI here in Portland about 10 years ago. And he told them all, for hours, he sat and he told them all the stories that he told me and more. Everything that he remembers about being in Scientology and the abuses that occurred inside. And they were going to do a raid, he said. But in the last minute, they didn't do the raid. And why? It was sabotaged, or they told him don't talk to the FBI in near Clearwater, and it's kind of obvious because they've been infiltrated. So I don't know, was it because they've been infiltrated where he was here too? He told me he believes it was because of what happened in Waco, that it was a bloodbath to raid a cult compound. Could be a bloodbath. I don't know. I don't know that he knows, but that's what he thinks. It's just insane that all of this can happen like right under our nose. Money related, someone was bought off. He did say that he was telling me about how there was this guy who used to speak out. Was it Marty? He mentioned, if you can go back, he said the guy's name. Marty something, spoke out against Scientology, and then suddenly his whole tune changed, and suddenly he had lots of money to spend where he didn't have money before. So also another thing that he said to me that he didn't make our live interview was that, so he talked about an interview with CNN. Oh, thank you, Kim. Thank you guys for giving me for filling in the blanks there. There's a little bit of a delay here, so if I don't answer your message, just see it right away. Also, sometimes I'm in my own head when I'm talking, but I really appreciate you guys filling in the blanks where I'm kind of at a lack for the information. So I don't know everything. Nobody does. Together we're smarter, right? Anyway, so what he was saying, he did an interview with CNN, and he didn't get to finish that story. God, my eye makeup is everywhere. Sorry. It's not important. If you guys were wanting me to follow me because I'm a model, you'd be following more of a model. Long story short, he did his interview, and then his ex-wife, third wife, is still in, even to this day, Catherine Frazier. And they asked him questions about her, and he said that he would only say nice things about her, that she's a lovely person with a golden heart. And so what they did after his interview, his and some other anti-cultists, was they got a hold of many of those people's ex-wives who were still in, and interviewed them. And that the ex-wives who were still in would say things like, oh, he's a liar, everything he said was false, and that part of the story was just that they said, well, would you like to hear what he said about you? And they told her that he just said that she's a lovely person with a golden heart, and that she was so surprised that, like, probably what she was told would be said was the opposite. That she had to excuse herself to be sick in the bathroom from being upset about, like, or surprised, or like that conflict, mental conflict of expecting one thing and then having it be the opposite. I don't know. I wish that he was able to tell that story and finish the story. So these are questions I'll ask him on the next talk we have. But so informative, so eye-opening in, like, scary ways. In like I'm talking about, you know, like the pulling of the cards, and the also something that the thing that was so not eye-opening, because I kind of had an idea, but just like hearing specific stories makes it more real. His marrying his wife like on the pretty much the day they were able to start talking, and that they didn't have any time to date or learn anything about each other, and if they wanted to ever talk at all, they had to, like, get married right away. Yeah, Kim, she's a media front person, exactly.
Some of them were, like, kind of extreme.
Why do you think nothing was that was the every inch of their body interview? I don't know what you mean by that. So, yeah, the guy was on the girl was still married to her husband, but they weren't together. He was on a boat and they were separated, but that she was legally married, and that he couldn't talk to her until she was legally divorced to even talk to her, even sit next to her on the bus. And the 15-minute bus ride was their, like, only time to talk, or like, that was what he considered their date. And that even, like, not even knowing anything about each other, he proposed to her, and they got married quickly. And like I said this to him after the live was over, but just like I was like, I hope I don't, you know, this isn't triggering to, like, for me to say this, but just like it came to my mind, just like you guys were probably trauma bonded. And he was like, yeah, you know, it was even traumatic just like trying to talk to each other at all because of the backlash, and that everyone was so encouraged to whistleblow on each other and to tell on each other. So, anyway, it's so crazy. This is like modern day. I mean, that wasn't modern day, but it wasn't like practically modern day. It was like not too long ago, and still happens. You know, his story is a little in the past, but other people's stories are happening right now. All the ex-wives were interviewed while they were in, but husbands were out. Yes, Kim. Yeah, that's what he was saying. Yeah. I sure hope Mindy doesn't have dinner plans with a current Scientology member. I come out and I've got Xenu eyes. You guys thought I had Xenu eyes in the beginning, though, so. No, dinner plans with who's hosting me here. Scary to be intimate as well. Oh, probably. I'm sure. Yeah, it's like, as I told him, like, just everything that you tell me makes me have more questions. I'm never done with my. I'm never not curious. Curious. I laugh when I'm nervous. It's not funny actually at all. It's so sad. Like, I almost started crying during the interview. Like, I don't know if you could tell. I was trying to hold it back because I didn't want to look like sappy or whatever, but I like almost cried a couple of times in his interview because how sad to live like that. What is it? Patrick. Media relations is an OSA function. So OSA at Hemet. Yeah, I think so. She's still their, like, media ambassador. So he says that there's a lot of footage of her, and that he said that all the footage of her makes her look like a bitch. And he says that she's actually a really nice person. And she really disagreed with a lot of the ways that they were and wanted to kind of be a positive influence or a positive change there. But there's only, like, you can't really affect much change when you're under the control. And it's also a lesson to us about like what the media shows you, and like how people share like clips that show one narrative and leave out anything that might show that the person's actually nice also, or whatever. And like, so it paints a really intentional picture, what we see in on YouTube or whatever. It's kind of one of the cool things about lives is that you really catch all, the gamut. It's not edited. That windy look. Is this the windy look? CNN interview was the ex-wives saying that their husbands weren't abused by miscarriage because they never saw any bruising, and the ex-wives knew every inch of their ex-husbands' bodies. Oh, okay. Thank you. Jay. Okay, we're back to... Gosh, we have so much time. I'm just walking in Portland. I couldn't find what I wanted to show you. It's all about the Green Man. I leave tomorrow. I'm going to Chicago. And when I go to Chicago, I'm not going to see you too much because of... I can't read with these glasses. I can't see without them. I have a wedding to go to, and I'm going to be with my family, and so they're all going to be like pulling at me in different directions. One day I've dedicated to being live with you guys. Dr. Brownstein is going to take me to the planet. This is the plan, okay? You know what happens with Mindy and plans. I hope I've taught you the reality is that they never, ever, ever go how they're planned. I can plan, but I must plan to change my plans. But the plan is that Dr. B is going to take me to the Chicago location and give me a little tour, and we'll be live and sharing stories and getting to know each other. That's why you need to do only live interviews. I was on TV news and okay, Amy, yes, let's talk about this. I was there, and you know what? I should absolutely post it. But you know what? I don't need to, because everyone was live. Everyone was live. Jessica was live. Okay, I'm gonna tell you the story. Do you guys remember when Danny, Cam, and DOA got arrested, and then Danny and Cam got let out like the following day, and they were interviewed by, I forgot what channel, and the interview was cut up to make them look really bad, and they kept, and I was there for the live interview. I was like behind the camera, and I was watching with my camera, but you couldn't really hear them because they were on microphones to the camera team, and we were right on the corner of Franklin and Bronson, so like I was videotaping, but you couldn't really hear them. That's what sucks about it, because I have the whole thing uncut. But Jessica was there, and Chris was there, Streets was there. I think they were all live. So maybe one of them caught the whole thing with the audio and everything. I doubt it though, because of the sound, the ambient sound. But I wish I could take what they cut and put it next to the uncut, because they were asking Danny and Cam real trap questions, like how many are in your G word? How many people? And they're like, there's no, look, we're individuals, and then they end up doing the report, and they're like, there were like 15 to 20 people. I'm like, wait, where did that come? I was there. I saw that they didn't say that. And they only picked moments where Cam was like not looking straight at the camera, like looking like they really cut it to paint a narrative, like right before my eyes. And I talked to Cam about it. He was like, yeah, I'm never doing an interview again if it's not live for like a mainstream media or whatever. So that was such a... Okay, thank you for that information. Oh, hey villain. How are you? What time is it? Gosh, it's only like 2 minutes later than I looked last time. I don't know if I have much more to say, but that was a really good point, Amy. When the mainstream media puts up these, not just them, even documentaries, Even independent documentaries, when it's all cut up, they're intentionally painting a picture, and it's not even necessarily even close to the reality of what happened, or the people involved, or even the story that they're trying to tell. Right before my eyes. Well, because I was right there. I was watching and with my camera. I was right in front of them. I was the closest, actually, because I was like kneeling down and like trying to be out of their camera's view. But anyway, you guys know what I'm saying. How are you, villain? Haven't seen you in a while. If I'm being interviewed and the question seems leading or weird, the interview ends. You know, I've learned my, I don't know, I say I've learned my lesson, but watch me like fall for my own thing. Lately, I've been having to relearn lessons over and over. They were trying to paint them as bad guys. Exactly. Trying to paint them as the bad guy. I feel like you'd make such, no, I feel like you'd make such a good character witness for someone. Thanks, that's nice of you to say. Ask Laura about the independent documentary getting cut up and weird. Yeah, she was telling me something about that. Thank you for bringing that up. Have you seen any parts of it? Or probably not, it didn't come out, huh? Or did it come out? She was just telling me that, like, because I was telling her, she was sharing some stories. And I was like, oh my God, Laura, the more you tell me, the more I learn about you, the more I just want to like follow you around with the camera, that whenever you have an idea, whenever a story comes to you, that we capture it and share it and make a documentary. It could be like a whole series with all the stories you have. And she's just like burned by someone else having not told her story the way that, you know, it's her story, and not telling it with that in mind, that it's her story to tell, and taking their own spin on it. Thank you, Carrie Ann. I am having a great time in Portland. I had that no ready to go. What do you mean, Jay Watterson? Sorry, maybe you're responding to something from a past conversation, because I get a delay. I don't know what you mean. Over the Rainbow is the worst documentary of Scientology ever made. Is that the one that Laura's in, that she's talking about? So she didn't want to talk about it too much because she's so hurt by what happened. And I understand. So, I'm not trying to make anyone uncomfortable. Rainbow something? Somewhere over the rainbow. But I was telling her, I'm like, if you gave me the chance, I would absolutely respect and uphold your, like, the dignity of the story that as you would want it to be told. And I know it's like triggering and it's such like reminding her of all the traumas to like have to like go back and edit like and hear the stories, hear it again. So like I'm like we would just hang out, and like anytime we hang out, and then a story comes to her. She can't control it, it'll come to her. Something will remind her of something, and that's how it works. So I would take on I would just make it as easy as possible for her. But I get it. I only have love, and I also like understand like boundaries, and like no means no. So. The guy was quick. I said no very quickly. I don't want to. Number one, I don't have any cash at all. So if any of you guys are listening and you're on around, I have no cash, 0 cash at all. So, but also I don't want to invite conversations with strangers necessarily. Where am I? I'm really close. Over the Rainbow was the secret designation for the Int base in Hammett. Oh, thank you. Oh, Twilla, thank you for telling me that. Hey, Holly. Laura wanted the raw footage that Over the Rainbow guy filmed, and he said he would give it to her, but then he never did. Oh. Yeah. Thanks, Jay. That's nice of you to say. Thanks, Jay. That's nice of you to say. So, yeah, I guess that's really it. Does anyone else have questions? I'm probably just gonna turn this off soon. I don't know if I should tell you. I'm not making any like blanket yes, no, definite yes, whatever plans. You know how I'm never like, and I am gonna go protest tomorrow. I am gonna be at the Blue Building. You know, I don't do that. I just I do what I feel in the moment. So I'm not doing that in telling you this, but I will tell you something kind of personal. The director of the movie was bought off and has largely disappeared. Oh. I've been seeing a voice doctor, and they really don't like that I'm protesting. And I'm trying to think, like, maybe I can do, like, instead of like being out and like raising my voice for things, like, I can't, if I see the window open, I can't not try to reach somebody inside. So I don't know if it's the healthiest thing for me to be feet on the ground. I'm not saying I'm not going to do it anymore. I'm not saying that. I'm just, I would like to maybe do more interviews like I did today. More like sharing some of these incredible stories that a lot of people don't know. And it's just something on my mind I wanted to tell you guys. But yeah, I wasn't happy when I heard that from my voice doctor. Did I hear about DOA's probation in West Virginia for filming children? No, I didn't. And this really isn't the appropriate place to talk about it. If you don't mind, punch to the face. Welcome to send me a private message if you'd like. But let's not talk about other streamers here, especially controversial topics that just might cause extra drama. Please give yourself vocal rest. Yeah, oh, thank you, Holly. Yeah, thank you. So, I do still want to like magnify the message and stories, and like I can't be the only one who's learning for the first time a lot of these things. Thanks, Curious Wendy. I could do silent protesting with signs or a megaphone. So the megaphone, see, now that's a thing, Jay. I was thinking about that. The megaphone, you can get into big trouble because they're the Church of Scientology, so people are getting in trouble for disturbing church services. But what if, because of my voice, I got a prescription that I need a megaphone? Is that possible? I was thinking about that. Like, legally, I could be able to, I need one. Like, it's my, not a mobility aid, a vocal aid. Is that stretch? Is that too much of a stretch? What do you think? Is that using my powers for good? Am I flying into O'Hare or Midway? Dustin, just because of the nature of like some people not being on team love, I don't want to say that publicly, but I'll be in Chicago, so no, that's I think enough information. But I appreciate you being interested. A doctor's note, like would I still get arrested if I had a doctor's note, a prescription for a vocal amplification? The megaphone is shaped like a pill bottle with doctor's instructions on the side. So I was thinking, I'm a little loophole finder. Dazed but Not Confused has Over the Rainbow still up on YouTube. I want to see this. I want to see it. I really want to read the book that Jeff gave me too. I was just like, it takes me a long time to read something because I really digest it, and sometimes I read parts over and over again just to like I don't know. It takes me a long time, and I love editing, so I have trouble putting down my editing to read something. But I know that doesn't make me sound like the smartest person on earth. But I'm not the smartest person on earth, so yeah, I think that's actually pretty smart of somebody to realize that. You love loopholes? As an RN, that's a great idea. Call it an assistive device. Thank you, Amy. So yeah. What time is it now? Too much time. So yeah, I forgot to ask her about that. Well, my next appointment with her is on Monday. Can you write me a prescription? Accommodation for special needs, ADA. Yeah, I would have special needs because of my vocal nodules. Yeah, my hair is light, Kim. And I was actually I was actually a blonde for many years. And so some of my old pictures are me being blonde. It was during COVID that I was trying to keep it up myself, and I destroyed my hair. So now I'm just like back to my normal color. But I enjoyed being blonde. It's just like there's a lot of upkeep with it, and also I think it's kind of an expensive. No offense for all of you guys who do it. I just think it's kind of an expensive, unnecessary spend. Like, what's wrong with brown? I don't know. And you have to do it. You have to keep it up. So, you would not fly into Midway. Pilots often get last-minute runway changes and will do steep banks over the city. Ugh. Okay, good to know. Thank you. I already have my tickets, so wherever I'm flying is where I'm flying, but it's good to know. And hey, let's talk about something different, not Scientology. I have a question for you guys. Okay, well, first I have an interesting story. Okay, we could talk for a little bit. So I flew in here and I'm staying with my host is hosting me, and he invited me and one other person to stay. Randomly, this other person is my neighbor in Hollywood. I don't know him. I've just met him. So like now we're gonna be friends, but not in the same building, but in next door buildings. And you remember when the chat picked my hair color? We might do that again because it's about time. So so that's interesting. The friend who's flying back told me, I didn't really look it up. This is my fault for not researching before. I'm asking you guys. Are gonna be like, Google it. Was there like some crazy information breach recently that all the flights got canceled? Like all his flights got canceled, and so he's having to stay like many extra days, and like all these. I don't know if my flight's gonna get canceled. It's something Microsoft. Do you guys know about what's going on? I have no clue. Who you guys are? You're a smart crew. So you're a smart crew. So what's the deal? What is the deal? Yep. Okay, is that all I get? Yep. What is it? Did they fix it? Are we in danger? How could all the planes be? How could this affect the planes, the flights? Microsoft outage, crowd strike, global outage of Microsoft. Something with Microsoft affecting banks and stuff. It was a patch with a flaw. It was a crowd strike. I don't even know what crowd strike is. Slowly getting fixed, but like, so there's still planes that the people have the seats. Why does that make the flight cancel? They're working on it. Okay. It created blue screens. The blue screen of death. I know about that. Happened to my laptop. Oh no! There was an update to Windows that went screwy. It affected a lot of systems, computer stuff. Okay. So, do any of you guys have flights coming up, and are you worried about it? It was not Microsoft's fault. Thank you for telling me that, Max. Any advice? Froze computers. So the plane couldn't fly because of the computers, or like the people who bought the tickets, like they lost all of the. I mean, so it's so ridiculous. I have no idea, but you know what? That's why that's not my job. Not a worry. Maybe does that mean that maybe I'm living here in Portland now? I'm gonna be. I hope I'll be allowed to stay. Fly Southwest. Okay. Call your airline. On the app it says my flight is fine for tomorrow night, but I'm getting nervous about how close it's getting. Call the airline to confirm. Don't worry, I'm fine. All right. I guess worst case scenario, I miss my family's wedding thing in Chicago, and I stay here if I'm allowed to stay. I'll go and hit up all my new Portland anti-cult friends. Some flights, not all. So my friend who had problems here was flying Spirit. So it was a Spirit error, but I'm also flying Spirit. Wasn't all airlines. The one that I'm on probably, though. Portland is in a state of emergency. Ah! Kim, are you trying to scare me? It's working. What do you guys want me to bring you back from Portland? Just kidding, I have no space in my bag. I can't even bring back a piece of paper. Not even an extra piece of paper I have to carry it on. I have to fold it up and put it in my special pockets. No, really. What do you mean? My daughter was on a work trip and was able to get home Friday but had panic attacks on the plane. Oh. Portland is in a state of emergency and I could book Southwest in an emergency. You know, I might want to book Southwest instead just because Spirit sucks so bad. And the seats are so small and the underseat area for my backpack that barely fits is too small. CrowdStrike as a company is done. I don't even know what that company does. Bring back some oysters. Okay, I'll put them in my special pockets. Worldwide outages. Half of the Times Square board is down. You hear Spirit is the worst? Yeah. In fact, I told Lara I was flying Spirit. She's like, girl, have some self-respect. I do cheap out on myself. I cheap out on myself big time. Oh, Portland police. Am I a cop watcher now? I'm a cop watcher now, guys. Call me Streets PDX. Scare West. It's probably better than Spirit, though. It's literally a synonym for ghost. Like, the airline ghosted my friend. You love the old street lamps? There you go. No emergency. No emergency. Gosh. I have all this time. Adam the Woo had problems. Flying blue screen canceled flights, and that was Saturday though. Okay, so no problems now. What's the update on it, guys? I'm like totally out of touch as usual. And I hate to do my own research. Stay away from Frontier 2. What, can I only go on the, I can only go on the expensive ones? Is that what you're telling me? I gotta put up better content to inspire more donations then and start panhandling. You want to keep me at this level, then I can fly Spirit. I support myself. I'm gonna cross the street here. Try not to get killed on the way. Banks had issues with stock trading. It was frozen on Friday. Oh, that's an important day to stock trade, isn't it? When have you known the Times Square board to be broke? You know, that was the craziest thing at the beginning of COVID when I was like, whoa, is when they started canceling the major the major sports games. When they started canceling those major sports games like basketball and shit, I was like whoa, this is like a world event. Before that, it didn't seem real. You guys were there. You were there. I was just like, oh, a lot of people are getting sick, huh? Okay, gotta wash our hands more. Okay, that makes sense. Whoa, everything's the world has stopped? Oh, we're getting money for that? I'm confused. Take a private jet? Thank you for the suggestion. I'll put it on my wish list. CNN, let's see. Hundreds of flights are canceled for the 4th straight day 2 hours ago. All right. I don't even know what CrowdStrike is. Did you tell me and I didn't read your message? Sorry if that's the case. Is that a store? Maybe we can walk into this store. I don't know. Yeah, let's walk into the store together. How much is the bus to Chicago? No, thank you. Sell, sell. All right, here we go. No. This. Who loves games like this? This is my family's favorite. A long time ago. Oops, I have to buy that. Okay. It's called Gloom. It's a real morbid game if you guys are familiar with card games. I'll hang out and let you see some of these, what this store has to offer. And we'll chat until you guys want to go home. Oh no! Transmission unstable. Let me see if I can fix the Wi-Fi. Can I sign in? Please? Very well because it says poor transmission, but I signed into Wi-Fi and it said successful. Super fight, game of absurd arguments. That's fun. Oh, arguments over who would win the fight. Oh, really, Max? Thank you for telling me that. All right. I love these game stores. Like little toys and stuff too. Such a freaking kid. What do you mean? Oh, dang it, huh? Maybe the music is gonna get me, huh? Oh, thanks, Miss Daisy. Oh, I love making things. This really sucks. Let's get out of here. Let me try. I guess I'm just gonna. I guess I'll like say goodbye to you guys and go in there myself because the transmission's bad inside. They have the music in there, so I'm probably already gotten striked. But and then after that, I'm eating for my dinner, and I gotta wipe all this crap out of my under eyes from like almost crying at Jeff's sad stories of how people have to live in Scientology and that they can't even like talk to the person they're in love with. I liked the show Charmed. Clea, we need to get back and chat. I am so sorry I've been neglecting you guys. I've been just really present with the people that I'm visiting out here. It was cutting out too much? Okay, thanks. Trust me, it's pretty cool inside. Thanks, Kane. I'll go live when I need you. And so I hope to go live on the 26th. I think the 26th is when I'm going to do a Chicago thing. So other than that, I'll post like little videos of things that I did here in Portland that I couldn't go live because the transmission was poor, or service was poor. Maybe I was with people who didn't want me to be live, so I took a video and I was going to edit it and post it later. I'll be doing that on the airplane. I know, Clea. I heard about what happened with Kirsty, and I'm sending her messages of love and stuff. I fell asleep though. It was like happening when it was like all the world is keeping on going when I'm on trying to get some rest and I want to be there for everyone, and that's not an excuse. It's not a good excuse or acceptable. So what else can I say? Is that it? Are we done? Yeah, we're pretty much done. So much love to those of you who stayed. I would say like, the important ones are left, you guys. Talk to you soon, okay? Liz Gale Live what? I'm Ginger? Somebody on Twitch said I'm Ginger. I'm not Ginger. Thanks, Dustin. Thanks, Holly. On the 26th, you can eat a Chicago hot dog and pizza on stream. I saw this thing about looking at a hot dog under a microscope, and I don't want to ever eat a hot dog again, to be honest. Pizza I'll do, though. So, Liz is live. Hey, guys, can you go into Liz's live and tell her Mindy reached out to you on TikTok and she wants to talk to you? I'm sure it's just an accident that she hasn't answered me back. I never take things personal. Hardly ever. Only love in all directions. Have a great night, day, etc. Stay safe, Heidi. Thanks for all of your input, Kim, about like all of the things that I've been talking about. You've been really helpful with like details here and there. Love you all. And my meeting with Windy in Chicago. I haven't heard from them. Have them reach out to me on Instagram. Bye.